Everything is on the table. It's Relationship Theory with Tina Laws.
Welcome back to Relationship Theory, where we talk about all things relationships and no topic is off the table. Before we went on break, we talked a bit about all the areas of relationships with Dr. Woolridge. And one of the things we wanted to talk about when we got back, which is now, is you spoke a bit about getting to know yourself and finding who you was. That's one of the ways in which you was able to walk away from that relationship in your 20s, and that's actually what sustained you up until this point, until who you are today, where you're not going to compromise or settle for certain relationships if they're not what you want. And so what would you say has been one of the things, or a few of the things that you've done to help you learn who you are and know what you want in life? What are some of the things that you've done leading up to this point?
Okay, for me, the biggest thing was to get spiritually grounded. So I grew up in a Christian household. Well, I grew up in a household in church. When I was about 11 or 12, my mom became a Christian. And so I laughed because I said, you became a Christian and everybody else's life had to change after that. But of course it changed for the better. At the time, though, it didn't feel like it. But it did change for the better. And so for me, it was becoming reacquainted with my personal relationship with God. God doesn't have grandchildren.
Yes.
And so I couldn't just ride on my mama's coattails. I had to figure out whether that was what I wanted for myself. And so during that time is when I did that. Now, I didn't come fully into my relationship with the Lord at that particular point. It's still talking like another 4 years or so. But I was moving in that direction. And so for me, like I said, being spiritually grounded, other people, it may be other things. Family values were huge.
Yeah.
My family, huge on family values. Family comes first, and being true to yourself and being kind and, loving other people and forgiving and things like that. All of those things I had to learn. Okay, was that just what I believe because that's what my parents told me, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, or did I truly believe all of those things for myself? And so all of that was part of that process and part of that journey, really, that led me to define myself as an individual. And so once you define yourself, you determine what works and what doesn't work in your life. Yeah. Because life's going to bring you things. It's going to bring you all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But you have to, let me tell you, a thought that came to me last week. There's a difference between a door of opportunity that's been opened and a door that's been left ajar. And you have to know the difference, because the door that's left ajar, not necessarily for you.
Yeah.
But the door of opportunity that's been opened, it has a place and a purpose in your life. And so go through it.
Yeah.
And there's some doors you have to turn around and close them behind you.
Yeah.
Because there's something coming on the road that you don't want it in your life.
Yeah.
Or you don't want it in your life anymore. And so you have to be willing to shut those things off and move on. And it's okay.
Yeah. And I find that a lot of relationships are like that. We have to shut the door because we end up staying in them because we leave it ajar, right? And so one of the things I will also say, and I know for myself personally, some of the things in which we do as women and we have to do as women is step outside of our comfort zone. Not all of us have this grounded families. Not all of us have parents that we grew up and watched in this happy kumbaya household. A lot of us come up. Yeah, a lot of us have came up in dysfunctional homes or single parent homes or parent homes that parents often work, like me. I had a mom that worked a lot around the clock. So, I didn't get to see that husband and wife that were home all the time, sitting at the table, teaching us how to love and all those things. And so I find that a lot of women, and not just young women, a lot of women in the 40s and 50s and 60s never had that. And so we're working at a deficit because we're trying to do something that we don't even know how to do. And so now we're going to retrain ourselves. And how do we do that? So some of the things in which I found for me and many of my clients do, and many of us have done is, you do things that you've never done before. So for many of us, it could be education. I went away to school, done something I never thought I could do. So that was something for me to learn my independence. Okay, you get into different activities. Sometimes you can even get around different families, meet different people, and find out what relationships really look like when you're not used to seeing them. Sometimes we have to get our friendship circles. It's circles because they go round and round and round. Well, if you're in bad behavior circles, there's behaviors that can go round and round and round. So how do we now transform our thoughts, our thinking process, and there's things in which we're doing in relationships? We have to change. change.
We do.
Ultimately, we have to make changes. And so for all you young ladies out there, or women in general, if there's something you want to do to make a change in your relationships or the lack thereof, you have to first start with you. What are the things in which you like to do? What are the things in which you dislike? And I guarantee you, many of you can't even point those fingers, because oftentimes when we're asked, who are you? You know what we say? Because I used to say it too. I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, I'm a brother, I'm a niece,
That's
and all
what you
these
do.
things.
It's not
That's
who you
what we
are.
do. And so we look at other mothers, sisters, daughters, and we just thought we're going to follow or mimic those behaviors, and we tend to do it. Now, a lot of the young lot now, they got boyfriends, and it's a style. You got a guy, he gives you money, or you do all these things for him, and he loves you more, or you compete with other women, but why not step outside of your comfort zone and be a leader? Let's be unique. Let's do some leadership things, like doing different workshops. Go and participate in a workshop, a lifelong workshop. It could be to do with hair. It could be to do with how you do a pedicure, massage. Go sit and listen to an adult talk about using things that they never done, or just acquiring their wisdom. We have to learn to do things differently. And so for those of us who's made many mistakes, we've made many, I know for me, and we made many mistakes. I look at my past relationships, even my marriage. I'm not who I was when I got married 20 years ago, so we have to now do things differently. And the reason I'm not who I am and you're not who you are is because we started doing things differently. So for me, I started changing my friendships. I started looking at who I really was. What did I want to do? And I didn't know what I wanted to do, to be really honest, for years to come. But I started trying different things and new things, starting getting into different friendship circles that were looking amazing. And I'm like, okay, I'm not up at that level, but you know what? I learned a lot from it. So I think in order for us women to make a change in this world, we're doing a great job at getting into this entrepreneurship world. We're doing a great job at coming shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow with these men in these powerful positions. We now need to do a great job at leading by example as it relates to relationships, and letting guys know that this is who we are, and I'm not going to settle for less. So if you ever find yourself in a relationship and it's feeling uncomfortable, like Dr. Woolridge said, she knew from the beginning, but of course, as we all have done, let me just see. Follow your gut, because it took her 2 years later. She still walked away. So why walk away 2 years later when you could walk away 10 minutes later? You understand? And you could be doing things in which you need to do for yourself. So in closing, Dr. Woolridge, do you have anything you wish to say? Any more you wish to add to our beautiful community?
What you said earlier, one of my friends always says, if you want to change some things in your life, you have to change some things in your life. So if you're looking at your life and there's some things that you don't like or that you think you could be doing better, look at what you can be doing to improve those areas or to change those areas. Yeah. And you talked about taking courses and trying different things. It could be as simple as get up and go to an art show. It doesn't have to cost money. It does not have to cost money. There are so many different free things that are going on, not right now because of the coronavirus, but
yeah, right. So we'll stop with that.
But but there are free events going on, and even events that cost money. Try experiencing new life experiences. If your idea of taking a trip is going to New York and going shopping, go to New York and go sightseeing. Give yourself half a day to shop.
Yes.
But go to New York and actually see these sites and experience the city. Take a food tour. Take a history tour. Try different things. Expand yourself.
Yes.
And travel by yourself.
Yes.
Listen, I love traveling by myself.
Yes.
Because you are forced to meet new people.
And you're forced to learn new things. And the other thing is that we don't have to always do anything. But what I will say is, try doing whatever it is you're doing by yourself. We don't always need to be friends. And a lot of times we learn new things and we learn who we are by trying new things, but we also learn a lot about who we are by spending time by ourselves.
Learn to love yourself. If you don't like your own company, how do you expect anybody else to?
To like it, exactly. And so in closing, I want to thank you, Zena. We know her as Dr. Woolridge as well. Thank you, Zena. We really appreciate you taking out time to come in. You don't have to, because you could be doing other things like traveling and learning yourself even more. But I truly want to say that it takes a lot for us women to get out here and speak what we feel. And we do it in a way of trying to help other women. And so all that being said, I just want to say thank you. And I pray that, because I'm a praying woman too, I pray that when you do find that hobby, we come on the show and talk about it.
Okay.
Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.